they'll sell you DOGE, but what they really want to do is cut your Social Security. Here is Georgia Representative Richard McCormick on Fox Business yesterday.
Have some hard decisions. We got to bring the Democrats in and talk about Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. There's hundreds of billions of dollars to be saved, and we know how to do it. We just have to have the stomach to actually take those challenges on. But we can't just talk about our discretionary budget. That's less than 25% of our budget. We have to have some real hard discussions.
Well, we talk about this all the time. It seems like we're constantly talking about where to cut and the fact that the fight over defense. Do you believe that the defense budget should be cut?
I'm not a big fan of that. I think we can do things better. But when you talk about what's happening in Taiwan, what's happening in the Middle East.
All right, hold on for a second. I just want to, a couple of words here. So we've got three parts of the budget. It's actually, and one part is untouchable, except for by special statute. And that is Social Security and Medicare, because that is dedicated funding from our payroll taxes. The other part is what's known as discretionary spending. And that comes in two parts, broadly speaking. One part is everything the government does. And then the other part is everything the military industrial complex does. And so he said, we're not going to touch. Here it is. There's three things. Fat little fingers. We're not going to touch with this one. Oh, we're not going to touch this one. This is the defense one. Mm-hmm. And they will cut all the other spending. And then this is what you got left is Social Security and Medicare. Now, you should know about Richard McCormick. He represents the wealthiest district in the state of Georgia. And what that means is his constituents do not rely on Social Security the way that the vast majority of Americans do. And not just elderly. I know this is difficult for people. If you're in your 20s, you're not conscious of this. If you're in your 30s, you still may not be fully conscious of it. But as you get into your 40s and your 50s, you realize like, hey, Social Security is keeping me from having to give my parents part of my paycheck every night or every week. Medicare, Medicaid is going to pay for 2/3 of the elderly who go in to a nursing home. Medicare is why my parents are getting health care. And if you're above 65, you obviously know this stuff firsthand. And the only people who really don't care about that are wealthy people who are like, I made most of my money through capital gains anyways. But the Social Security check is nice, but who cares? I'm willing to take a cut on that if it justifies cutting it for everybody else. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to save money. I'm going to save money on this. And maybe there's opportunities for me to make money.
That's the thing is, would that district be more or less likely the average constituent to be invested in the military-industrial complex? I think probably more.
Probably more. But, I was also told, though, recently that this is a populist Republican movement. The establishment is going to...
It is a populist.
The establishment, whatever that means.
We all have to have shared sacrifice.
Yes. Populist. What is it? It's for the people. For the people. We're going to cut your health care and the program that keeps nearly 2/3 of our seniors out of poverty. For the people. And by people, I mean Lockheed Martin, because the Supreme Court says they have corporate personhood. So, duh, that's populism. Right-wing populism is delivering for the people, asterisk, people by the definition of the Supreme Court, meaning corporations. So, there's nothing new about this Republican Party. There's absolutely nothing new, except for the fact that they have a TV host at the top of the ticket who has like cultural cachet and charisma and an unorthodox style of speaking and behaving. Yeah,
not like they've ever done that before with Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, I mean, give me a break. And, the idea that they were able to win as the anti-war ticket by default is astounding. Because
we got a big shared sacrifice, but I don't have
not the military budget. Yeah, what happened to all the discussion in the House, by the way, about how they were going to cut the military department, but just the woke stuff, right? Oh, but none of that, because you know what isn't woke? The fucking United States defense budget, because we're sending over bombs to blow Palestinian children into smithereens as we speak. And let's not even talk about the fact that Biden just approved internationally illegal landmines to be sold to Ukraine, which, again, support Ukraine in their defense against Russia. But that's an unconscionable decision. And the Republicans are going to be as in favor of it as they always have been. But it's not going to matter in terms of how people cover it. It's infuriating.
Should we do the Kash Patel stuff, or is there any more on this guy? Let's literally let a couple more seconds run out with this. I'm not so into the military thing, but we have got a crisis. Shared sacrifice. None of my wealthy constituents will worry about this. The country is about to go bankrupt, but we still need double the size of the military of all the other militaries combined. So, there you have it. Because I'm worried about China and Taiwan. Let me throw Taiwan out there. How's that?
I'm not a big fan of that. I think we could do things a lot better. But when you talk about what's happening in Taiwan, what's happening in the Middle East, what's happening with Israel, what's happening in Ukraine, this is an unstable place, an unstable time. We have to be very careful. We have to have a real conversation. We're going to have to...
Real conversation.
Yeah, I wonder why it's unstable. I wonder what could have made it unstable. You know what could have stabilized things? Biden saying to Netanyahu, you're done, a year ago. You're done. Or you don't get another weapon. Oh, well. At least as long as we can cut Social Security. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.